Okay. My name is Holly Alfano with ILMA, and thanks for joining us today. I want to once again thank Chevron Ornite for their longtime support of LubeTrends Live. They will also be sponsoring the session at the annual meeting, which we're all looking forward to. Today, we're going to be talking about a topic that a lot of people in the chemicals industry need to be aware of, and that is the fact that we deal with chemicals that can be misused, that can fall into the wrong hands, and can possibly be used for be weaponized actually. And we need to take those steps that we can to safeguard the chemicals that we use in manufacturing our products. And today we have two people from this U.S. Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency, who will be under, and it's actually organized under the Department of Homeland Security, and they will be giving us some pointers and pointing us in the direction of getting information about this program, the ChemLock program. So I want to take a minute and just introduce them. We have Janine Mason, and she serves as a program analyst for the chemical sector management team in the Stakeholder Division of CISA. In this role, she collaborates with government, private sector, public sector partners to develop guidance, resources, and training that support the security and resilience of our nation's critical chemical facilities. Her expertise spans physical and cybersecurity, project and operations management, strategic planning, risk management, and the implementation of best practices in critical infrastructure environment. We also have Kimberly Heyne. Kimberly Heyne is the ChemLock program coordinator. She oversees the operation of the voluntary ChemLock chemical security program and manages the development of the services that it offers. Previously, she worked for the Defense Threat Reduction Agency as an international program manager, leading projects aimed at preventing the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction. Prior to starting her federal career, Kimberly worked at the national headquarters of the American Red Cross. Thank you both for being here today, and I'm going to turn it over to Janine for her presentation.
Thank you, Holly, for that warm introduction, and I'm getting my screen up here to share with everybody.
As she's doing that, I just wanted to remind everyone that to feel free to add your questions to the chat, and we will tackle them at the end.
Absolutely. And again, thank you so much, Holly, for the kind words and introduction. And thank you to ILMA for having us today to talk to everyone and for everyone joining us today on the town hall. As Holly mentioned, again, my name is Janine Mason, and I am with the Chemical Sector Management Team in CISA's Stakeholder Engagement Division, or the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. And today I'm going to give you a very high-level run-through water hose overview of CISA, talking about the Chemical Sector Risk Management Agency and our role in capacity building, which encompasses training, publication, voluntary programs, and low or no-cost resources that are available to everyone here within the chemical sector. And so again, just a recap, a listing again of everything I plan to cover in my notes. So to give a little background on CISA, our mission within CISA, our vision, is very simple. We are focused on a secure and resilient infrastructure for the American people. And our mission as the nation's risk advisor is to work with partners in industry and government to secure today and defend tomorrow. Actually, I said it the other way around. It's defend today and secure tomorrow by understanding and managing risk to our nation's critical infrastructure. And we achieve this mission through partnership and collaboration, working collectively to heighten our effectiveness, information sharing, working with government and industry partners to quickly share accurate and timely information on critical infrastructure and cybersecurity threats, and transparency, we're transparent about the threats that we face as a nation. And what we want to be as transparent with is what we as CISA and what our partners are doing together to counter these types of threats. So within our organization, CISA is the sector risk management agency for 8 of the 16 U.S. critical infrastructure sectors, which includes the chemical sector, which you see here on the left side of your screen. For the other 8 sectors, or for all 16 sector risk management agencies, CISA is the national coordinator, or plays in the national coordinator role. These 16 infrastructure sector assets, systems, and networks are considered so vital to the United States that their incapacitation or destruction would have a debilitating effect on security, national economic security, national public health and safety, or a combination of all of those. And as the majority of our nation's critical infrastructure is owned and operated by private sector, operational collaboration is foundational to all of our efforts. And we work on a wide array of partners across the globe from every industry, connecting them together to all the resources, tools, and information to help fortify security and resiliency against current and emerging threats. So as the Sector Risk Management Agency, we are the primary federal entity that's responsible for the close collaboration among all critical infrastructure sectors, as well as cultivating that cross-sector partnership at both the national and the regional level. Our primary responsibility as a SRMA is to support sector risk management, assess sector risk, coordinate across the sector, facilitate information sharing regarding physical security and cybersecurity, support incident management, and contribute to emergency preparedness efforts. So within the Stakeholder Engagement Division, where I'm housed, we work to elevate the CISA stakeholder experience with our public and private partners, providing them information to help equip them for action, give awareness to possible threats and vulnerabilities to both cyber and physical critical infrastructure, and advise them on changes in operational footprints that are taking place within the chemical community and within the world. Now, this is done in coordination and collaboration across the sector, and again, with our cross-sector partners and internally within the divisions within the SRMA. We address these within our 5 lines of effort, which focuses on partnership management through our public-private partnership structure, strategic planning, analysis, and reporting, capacity building, where we develop, deliver products, tools, resources, and training, information sharing, disseminating information and facilitating access to information sharing mechanisms through various modalities, and sector-specific incident management, where we maintain situational awareness, we support incident analysis, and we provide follow-up support to both internal and external customers. So I think I keep saying the word partnership a lot, but partnership is at the core of everything that we do within CISA. And we work to facilitate collaborative efforts with both our public and private stakeholders and provide subject matter expertise to coordinate critical infrastructure security and resilience efforts at the national and regional level. So through our sector partnership model, as you see here on the slide, the Stakeholder Engagement Division, specifically the Chemical Sector Management Team, engages with the Chemical Government Coordinating Council and the Sector Coordinating Council, which I'll speak more in depth on another slide. But along with those 2 organizations, we also work with other chemical sector partners in a public-private partnership to develop sector-specific products and services, such as trainings and guides. And these help critical infrastructure owners and operators make risk-informed decisions and help to build capacity. So when we speak about capacity building, we're referring to efforts to provide those resources, training, and information to help those partners manage their risk, improve security, and aid in the implementation and execution of protective and response measures across the chemical sector. We cultivate these types of relationships with strategic partner organizations, such as the federal, state, local, tribal, territorial, industry, international governments, private sector, academia, nonprofits, and other organizations to support and amplify the reach of CISA's programs and policies. And this helps to build a collective defense against cyber and physical security risks. It also helps to improve incident response capabilities, enhance information sharing on best practices and threats, and strengthen our resilience. So on the last slide, I mentioned the Government Coordinating Council and Sector Coordinating Council. And I've talked again a lot about collaboration and partnership, but this is how we engage with the industry. and ensure that we have good cross collaboration. So the Chemical Sector Management Team is an organizational element within CISA Stakeholder Engagement Division that supports the sector-specific strategic planning and coordination activities and collaboration mechanisms. And we do this through engaging with our Government Coordinating Council and our Sector Coordinating Council. And these individuals and these groups represent the public-private partnership across the sector. The Government Coordinating Council is led by CISA and provides coordinated communication between the government and the sector for homeland security and protection issues. And we coordinate with and support the efforts of the Sector Coordinating Council, and we leverage complementary resources within government and between government and industry. So we serve as that conduit and that bridge to help bridge the gap between the two organizations. Now, the Sector Coordinating Council, I think a few people on here will see or be familiar with the associations and the organizations that are listed. But the Sector Coordinating Council represents the majority of owners and operators of the chemical sector who are engaged in the production of chemicals, as well as those who are engaged in the storage, distribution, and use of chemicals. The SCC is a self-organized, self-governed, and self-run by all of our industry representatives. If this is something that you'd like to learn more information about, or you'd be interested in participating with the Sector Coordinating Council or getting more information, you are welcome to reach out to me, and I'd be happy to put you in touch with the Sector Coordinating Council directly so that they can get back to you with additional information. These coordinating councils, we and all the partners convene on a quarterly basis. So we get together every 3 months, and we also have regular and reoccurring touch points on a monthly basis. And we do this so we can share information, develop tools, guidelines, and products, and discuss current and emerging threats and concerns for the sector. The sector also works closely to plan, implement, and execute sector-wide resilience and security programs, which I'll expand on in my next few slides. So through our partnership structure, we're able to build a collective defense against cyber and physical security risks and enhance information sharing. Now, one way we do this is by providing timely and relevant classified and unclassified information, as well as provide training and technical assistance and exercises. So along with our quarterly meetings, we conduct quarterly classified briefings for cleared representatives that address topics that including current and emerging cyber and physical threats that are potentially impacting the chemical sector. Now, through our private sector clearance program, or what we call PSCP, CISA sponsors clearances, which enable selected owners, operators, and representatives to access classified information and more fully participate in the protection of critical infrastructure and the security of the homeland. We also conduct unclassified threat calls and webinars that focus on current physical and cyber threats, as well as other topics of interest to the sector. Now, these calls do not require a clearance and are open to anyone who would like to participate. Another way we engage with the sector is through our CISA exercise team, and they conduct and offer physical and cyber exercises with and for government, private, and international partners, and they focus on enhancing security and resiliency of critical infrastructure. Now, these exercises vary from full drills, workshops, seminars, and tabletop exercises. The CISA Tabletop Exercise Program, or CTEP series, for chemical industry stakeholders features a situational manual materials to execute an exercise on a variety of topics, from active shooter, improvised explosive devices, unmanned aerial systems, insider threat, and a variety of other scenarios. And we like to call those an exercise in a box. And those are available to, again, to anyone who's interested. Another one of our larger engagements that we do on an annual basis is our Chemical Security Summit. Now, our Chemical Security Summit is an annual 3-day event that is co-hosted by CISA and the Chemical Sector Coordinating Council. And this forum brings together government and industry national security experts from across the country to network and share best practices related to chemical security. The summit features important chemical information from industry organizations, facility owners and operators, government officials, first responders, and law enforcement, and provides a forum to exchange risk management information and best practices, as well as training sector partners and strengthening public-private network relationships. So our 2023 Chemical Security Summit is actually scheduled for the end of this month. It begins on August 29th and goes through the 31st. There will be select sessions from the summit that will be available virtually. So if there's individuals that would like to participate but can't be there in person, we do have that virtual option. So I really do encourage that anyone that has an interest in learning more about chemical security to participate, to sign up for the Chemical Summit, where you can get a lot of information, make some great connections, and again, just learn a lot about chemical security. If you scan the QR code, it should take you right to the registration page, as well as provide you additional information. So we're still working on finalizing all the topics and agendas, but as soon as we have that, that will be posted as well, so everyone can see all the different sessions that we will offer. All right. Also, chemical resources and publications. So another thing that's come through our GCC SEC partnership and collaborative efforts with the government and industry have been the opportunity to develop a variety of resources and sector-specific publications that focus on chemical security and resilience. So I've highlighted some of these resources on the slide, and if you scan the QR code, it will take you to our chemical sector publications page, where you can access all the documents and even more than what I have listed here. But I did want to highlight some of these important resources so that you're aware of information that's out there and available. So we have our fact sheet, which just gives a very brief overview of the sector, along with various collaboration mechanisms, resources, and training materials. Our chemical sector profile describes the components and 4 main segments of the chemical sector. It's a 7-page document with some great visual introductions for those who are newer to the sector. We have our landscape, our chemical sector landscape, and it's intended to provide the sector with an improved understanding of threats, vulnerabilities, and consequences, along with tools, guides, best practices, and resources to make more effective risk assessments and risk management decisions at the facility and sector level. We have our cybersecurity framework, and this guide provides chemical sector organizations with a mapping of existing cybersecurity tools and resources used in the chemical sector, along with detailed framework implementation steps tailored for chemical sector owners and operators. Our playbook is an SOP that was developed to assist the chemical sector for preparing for, responding to, and recovering from an all hazards emergency. We have our CSAT training, which is our chemical sector security awareness training, which is web-based, and it goes through how to prepare for and respond to an active shooter situation, counter insider threats, detect and report surveillance activities, and guard against threat and diversion. It also shares industry recognized effective practices to enhance the security posture of chemical facilities. And the last one I really want to touch on is our chemical sector monthly newsletter. This is a newsletter that we share and distribute to our chemical sector partners on a monthly basis. It includes CISA alerts, advisories, products, tools, recent and upcoming engagements and training opportunities, and any other information that could or would be relevant to the chemical sector. This is a great tool just to know, be up to date on what's going on within the sector, and kind of keep your finger on the pulse of what the discussions are being, how we're discussing things within the sector. If you're interested in being added to future editions of our newsletter, again, you're welcome to reach out to me directly or reach out to our chem sector inbox, and I'll have all that contact information at the end. The last one is the HISN site, which I'll talk about on the next slide. So our Homeland Security Information Network. This is the primary information sharing platform for the chemical sector. So we call it HISN-CI. And HISN is the Department of Homeland Security's official system for trusted sharing of sensitive but unclassified information between federal, state, local, tribal, territorial, international, and private sector partners. So the HISN-CI is a mission-based community that exists within HISN and provides a platform for sharing and collaboration of a variety of information focused on security and resilience information across the entire critical infrastructure community. It also allows for peer-to-peer collaboration space for members to engage in real time. For the communities of interest, or the COIs, those are smaller and limited groups within the HISN-CI. So on HISN, we do have our chemical COI portal, which is a restricted access site, and it's just specifically for chem sector individuals, partners who want to have access to timely, useful information. And the great thing with the time right now is we're going through a revamp of our chemicals portal. So hopefully by the end of this month, we will have a nice revamped site where we're focusing on streamlining a lot of the information, trying to make the information more accessible, user-friendly, and quicker to access than before. So we hope to have that together by the end of the month. But if you haven't already, I do encourage you to request an account, to request access. I do have the information listed here. To send the email, you just provide your name, your company information, address, the community of interest you'd like to have access to, which would be the chemical, and the purpose for the access. Usually once we receive these requests, we can get your account activated within 24 to 48 hours. Additional resources that are available on HIS and CI include analysis, alerts, bulletins, training, and suspicious activities report. And I think I just have 2 more slides, but I wanted to make sure that I included this one specifically for this group and touch on a lot of the cyber services and resources that we have available through CISA. Because we understand as we work to strengthen our nation's digital network, we know it's a marathon and not a sprint, and it requires a committed and ongoing action from all of us. And we also recognize that while we want the best defenses, money at times can be an issue, and especially for state and local governments or small and medium-sized businesses who are constrained by smaller budgets or fewer staff than those larger-sized businesses. So at CISA, we fully recognize these challenges, and in support of our partners, we offer many voluntary programs, services, and products. And these include cybersecurity risk management and resilience service and tools, such as our CISA Cyber Essential Starter Kit, which is a guide for leaders of small businesses as well as leaders of small and local government agencies to develop an actionable understanding of where to start implementing organizational cybersecurity practices. So it's a great starting point to cyber readiness. We also have technical assistance and services that range from proactive vulnerability scanning to malware analysis. Another example of that is our cyber hygiene service for internet-facing systems, which is an automated remote scan. And that provides a report identifying vulnerabilities and mitigation recommendations to improve the cybersecurity of systems connected to the internet. We also expand our information sharing capabilities and improve situational awareness of threats, vulnerabilities, incidents, mitigation, and recovery actions. Now, I've listed some of these services on resources on the slide that are available at no cost to help improve your cybersecurity posture, and many of which CISA offers through our regional staff, which I'll discuss on my last slide. But again, just to highlight on here, I tried to include as much information on here with the links as well, but you will get the PDF copy of these at the end of the town hall, and all of these links are interactive. If you click on them, it'll take you right to the site so you can get even more resources and information. And so finally, my last slide is focused on our CISA regions. So I want to highlight that many of the services CISA offers and that I've discussed today are also available and provided through our regional staff. So within each of CISA's 10 regions, we have staff positioned to provide a more focused and tailored approach to regional and local issues. Aligned to specific areas, the regions provide a range of cyber and physical services to support security and resilience of critical infrastructure owners and operators and state and local tribal and territorial partners. Our experts collaborate with critical infrastructure partners and communities to support preparation, response, and recovery efforts, conduct and integrate infrastructure assessments and analysis, and facilitate information sharing and improve situational awareness of cybersecurity risks and incidents. So what's great about our regional folks is that they're at the ground level and usually only a stone's throw away from your location or just a quick phone call. So if you haven't worked with anyone of our regional staff yet, I really encourage you to reach out to them. I'm happy to put you in touch with members of our team that can support your individual needs. I have, again, the links on here for the CISA regions and also the email addresses for each one of the regions. You're welcome to reach out to them directly. They'd be happy to set up a meeting, come talk to you, and talk more in depth about all the tools and resources and more that I've discussed today. So with that, to recap, as partnership and collaboration are central to every part of our mission, we continue to be committed to keeping pace with the ever-evolving threat and we will continue to provide our partners with actionable information and recommendations to incorporate into your security plans. We truly look forward to continuing these types of engagements and dialogues so that we can collectively better understand, manage, and reduce risk to our cyber and physical infrastructure and accomplish our shared security mission. So I just want to thank you again for the opportunity to speak today. If you have any questions or would like additional information on anything I've discussed, you're welcome to reach out to me directly. I have my email address on there, as well as the Chem Sector inbox. And you can also click on the link here and it'll take you to our chemical sector site for additional information. And the session is being recorded and a copy of the PDF will be provided to everyone that's attended today. So thank you again, and I will now turn the floor over to Kimberly.
Thank you.
Great, thank you, Janine. I'm going to share my screen now. Okay, great. So Janine provided a wonderful overview of CISA as a whole and the work that we are doing with the chemical sector. And I'm going to talk to you all today about one of the specific programs that we have focused on chemical security at CISA. So again, I'm Kimberly Heyne. I am the ChemLock program manager, and I'm very much looking forward to sharing with you some of what we've done over the past couple of years since we launched the program, and some of the things we have planned coming in the future as well. So I'm going to start with sort of why are we concerned about chemical facility security? We know that we face a persistent and evolving threat, and a successful attack on a chemical facility could cause a significant number of deaths and injuries. Certain chemical facilities possess materials that could be stolen or diverted and used for terrorist activities. And some of these examples of sort of highly visible and significant chemical release incidents at other facilities have really demonstrated the possible results that terrorists could achieve if they were to intentionally release chemicals for harmful purposes. So that threat and that possibility is what led to the creation of the ChemLock program. And our logo is to know your chemicals and lock in your security posture. So who should be using the ChemLock program? Oops, excuse me, sorry, forgetting to switch slides. So ChemLock is open to all facilities with dangerous chemicals. We're looking at facilities with chemicals that we would consider toxics or toxic precursors, things that can cause death or serious injury through inhalation. We're also interested in working with facilities that possess flammables. And then finally, we are interested in working with facilities that have explosives and explosive precursors that could be used to create an explosive device. And these categories are really just to help provide some context. The ChemLock program is not limited to just these types of chemicals. Another thing I want to note is that when I'm talking about chemical security, I use the term chemical facilities, so not exclusively limited to just the chemical sector. The ChemLock program is open to all facilities with dangerous chemicals, and you can see here on the screen just a few of the sectors that we know typically use the types of chemicals that we are most concerned about. Right now, we are especially interested in working with small and medium-sized businesses and enterprises that may not have in-house security expertise or the resources to devote to investing in dedicated security staff. This year, our intent is to primarily work with the private sector itself, so owners and operators of facilities that have these chemicals, as well as potentially sort of associations that convene such facilities like ILMA. We do not yet have services or training that's tailored to emergency responders or law enforcement, but that is one of the things that we are looking at providing in the future. And then lastly, we also don't partner with contract security services or consultants. We work directly with the facilities themselves. So now I'm going to talk about what actually is the ChemLock program. So we currently have 5 what we call pillars of services and tools. All of our services and tools are offered on a completely voluntary basis, and they're provided at no cost to the facility. And I'll go into more detail about each of these different services in the coming slides. So the first pillar of ChemLock are our on-site assessments and assistance. And this is an area where I really think facilities get a lot of sort of bang for their buck. We've broken the assessment into a 3-visit process, so facilities can choose how they want to scale the engagement. We start with security awareness consultation. This is a virtual or an in-person visit with a CISA chemical security expert who will work with your facility to identify potentially dangerous chemicals that you have on site and the associated security risks that those chemicals may pose, especially taking into specifically within your operating environment. The second level is the security posture assessment. So again, it's working with our chemical security experts. They will work with the facility to assess their current chemical security posture and identify potential security enhancements that are tailored to the facility's unique circumstances and needs. And then the third and final level is a security planning visit. Again, those experts will consult with the facilities to help them develop or update a security plan that is both appropriate to a facility's specific security concerns and drives actionable, cost-effective improvements in their chemical security posture. And the baseline for this type of visit is our ChemLock Secure Your Chemicals Guide, which I'm going to talk about as part of our second pillar. So the second pillar of ChemLock is our publications and resources, and we have quite a number of these. They're all free and currently available on our website, which is CISA.gov/ChemLock. And the really big one that I want to focus on with you today, and I hope that you'll go check it out after today's session and take a look at it, is the ChemLock Secure Your Chemicals document. This is a truly comprehensive chemical security planning document. It covers, in a way that's accessible to non-security practitioners, how to approach developing a layered chemical security plan that is tailored to your operating environment. It outlines what we consider to be the best approach to the development of such a plan and walks the reader through factors that they should consider when it comes to their security planning. This includes things from how to define an asset to considerations for outreach to first responders, as well as the importance of different policies and procedures. The document essentially serves as a foundation for the recommendations that we as chemical security experts will be making with the facilities who engage with us. Along with the guidance document, there is also a downloadable and scalable template that can be used by companies as they work to develop their own plans. This is something that can be filled out, printed out, and then kept on hand by your security officer or manager so that you are ready should something occur. Additionally, we have a suite of different fact sheets that focus on particular aspects of chemical security. The one that is here in the photo is one of our popular ones, and it actually looks at which aspects of chemical security provide the most benefit for the least cost. Throughout the ChemLock program, we have looked at including options for facilities that are low or no cost. We know that security is not a revenue generator, but there are changes that can be made that leverage existing structures and resources, but that do provide a chemical security budget. And the last part of our ChemLock publications is, and this is an area where we're still developing some of these, we've put together some flyers. These are items that are meant to be physically printed and posted at your facility, in employee break rooms and places like that to provide awareness about chemical security. And we're also looking to develop toolkits that focus on particular aspects of chemical security as well. The third pillar of the ChemLock program is our exercises and drills. Janine mentioned the CISA exercise branch, and we have partnered with them as well to develop some tabletop exercise packages that are tailored specifically to chemical security. Right now, we have 14 separate exercise packages that are also available to download from our website, and facilities can use them to plan their own exercise. You can see all of the topics listed here on the slide. And these tabletop exercise packages contain planning guidance, documentation, and exercise design templates. So things, starting from the admin, like welcome letters, through exercise planner handbooks, the facilitator handbook, feedback forms, and then it even has things, it has the scenario questions and things like after action report templates as well. We also know that putting on an exercise is definitely something that takes a certain amount of experience and training. So in addition to the CTEPs that can be downloaded, facilities can also request a live exercise where CISA works with a facility to identify a scenario, plan an exercise tailored to their site, and then assist in executing that exercise along with developing the after action plan. And facilities with dangerous chemicals are able to request that directly through the ChemLock program. The fourth pillar that we offer is our ChemLock training. We currently have 2 training courses that we offer virtually on a quarterly basis. The first course is the Introduction to Chemical Security. And this is a course that's designed for all employees at a facility with dangerous chemicals, sort of regardless of their personal level of involvement with these chemicals. The second course is a more in-depth course. This one is targeted at facility leadership and security personnel, and it goes into detail on how to create a tailored chemical security plan. Both courses, though, talk about the importance of chemical security, some of the different risk factors, and they're very complementary trainings. In addition to these 2 trainings, we are also in the process of developing a security awareness training for employees that we hope to release in early calendar year 2024. The fifth and final ChemLock pillar is special access to CISA services. As you heard from Janine, CISA as an agency has a wealth of other tools and resources that are available to facilities. And they're the 2 here that we particularly promote from the ChemLock program. The first is the cybersecurity evaluation tool, which I believe Janine talked about, is a desktop application that guides asset owners and operators through a systematic process of evaluating operational and informational technology. And our chemical security experts can work with your facility to walk through how to use that tool and to get the most benefit out of it by taking into account the unique considerations of chemical facilities. And then the other one that we currently partner closely with on is the active shooter preparedness, which is a regular webinar that is offered through another part of CISA. So hopefully you are all asking this question of how do I sign up for ChemLock services? So if you visit our website at, again, CISA.gov/ChemLock, you can fill out a brief service request form, and then we will schedule, we'll be in touch, schedule kind of a quick intake call with the facility, make sure we understand the request and that we are processing it in the right way, and then we'll connect you with the resources that you're most interested in. So I do encourage you, if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at ChemLock at CISA.dhs.gov. And you can also check out our website, and that QR code will take you directly to the ChemLock website as well, where you're able to download all of those publications and the exercise tabletop packages, as well as get more information about the other ChemLock services as well. I'll leave that up for just another moment so you all can get the QR code out. Great. And happy to answer any questions at this point. Holly, I'll turn it back to you.
Great. Thank you. Wow, I'm so impressed with the array of services that are available for, especially for the small business side, that the scenarios that you discussed, possible active shooters and civil unrest and all of those. I mean, it's unfortunate that the world today has so many different threats, but there's definitely value in acknowledging and being prepared for these threats. And I am just so appreciative of the fact that these tools and resources are out there for people to take advantage of. So I want to see if we have any questions. I'm going to check here. I did see a question. Do any of the links address top screening / CFAT? Does anyone, do you know?
Yes, so the CFAT program is the Chemical Facility Anti-Terrorism Standards Regulation. That regulation actually just lapsed at the end of July and was not reauthorized. So I encourage anyone who has any questions to reach out to the email inbox, which is cfats at CISA.dhs.gov. And I can make sure you have that, Holly, to send out as well.
Great, thank you for that. So what, if you had to name a place, what's a good place to start with the ChemLock services?
Thanks for that question. So I would recommend taking a look at that ChemLock, the Secure Your Chemicals Guide. It's really a holistic document and actually really underpins sort of all of the different ChemLock services. So I think that's a great sort of resource to get started with. And then our trainings as well. As I mentioned, we offer them on a quarterly basis. And you can go and register directly for either training course on that website, the CISA.gov/ChemLock, and take both of the trainings and start to learn more. And that may give you a sense of sort of where you want to take things from there as well.
Thanks. Janine, I was very interested in your sector coordinating council. And I noticed a number of associations listed there and private companies. And I was just wondering, how do private sector companies become involved in sector activities?
Well, I would say the first thing is doing this right here, participating in these types of town halls where we're doing information sharing and putting things out there that you may not be familiar with. But if you're specifically interested in participating in the Sector Coordinating Council, because it's self-governed and self-run by industry, they manage that relationship, but you are welcome to reach out to myself directly, and I can put you in contact with our Sector Coordinating Council Executive Committee, because we have senior leadership on the SCC who manage and maintain that partnership relationship, and I can put you in contact to see what you can do to participate. I know sometimes bandwidth is a little tight for everyone, so if you're not ready for that level of engagement at the Sector Coordinating Council level, again, we have a lot of other means and modalities of communicating with you, sharing information, and making sure you're included in a lot of the decision-making conversation that helps to build out a lot of the resources and tools that we create and develop for you.
Great. What happens after someone submits a ChemLock service request? What would be the next step?
Yeah, so after we get that ChemLock service request, we will reach out to the facility to schedule what we call sort of an intake call. And during that brief call, usually they're about 15 to 20 minutes, we'll have a conversation about the specific services that the facility has requested, talk a little bit sort of generally about the ChemLock program, make sure that we are routing their request appropriately. And then usually what happens is we, as Janine showed, the regional maps for the ChemLock program, we also rely on our regional personnel to deliver a lot of the ChemLock services. And so we will connect the facility with the appropriate folks that are local to them to be able to do things like conduct an on-site assessment happens with our regional personnel. So.
Just a question about process. When someone comes out and does an assessment, I guess what they're doing is evaluating the security at the facility and identifying threats. Is that what the person would be doing?
Yes, yeah, so that's part of it. So the assessments are really tailored specific to the facility. It's not sort of a one-size-fits-all approach. We really want to make sure that we're taking into account the facilities, specific, the chemicals that they have, the threats that those chemicals themselves pose, things like, is it at risk for theft and diversion, or is it potentially a release type of chemical? And then also taking into account, the facility itself, where is it located? What is it near to? And then putting all of that together, our chemical security experts will also look at what kinds of different security measures, or in some cases even safety measures, that are in place at a facility that can contribute to security, and develop what we call options for consideration for the facility to actually make improvements to their security as well. So.
Yeah, I got another question in the chat. Are the assessments different than what would occur during the inspections that were required under CFATS?
So the expertise is very similar to the CFATS expertise. We're relying on our chemical security inspectors who previously supported the CFATS program to do the assessments. Of course, the main difference is that ChemLock has always been a voluntary program. So that's why we call them options for consideration. It's really for the facility to identify which security measures they are most interested in, most able to implement at their facility, and then they make that decision for themselves. And the chemical security experts can help guide them and think through steps for implementation. But again, it is a voluntary program, so there's no mandate that they implement those different options for consideration.
Okay. I'm going to check the chat one more time. I don't see any other questions, but I just want to thank both of you for taking the time to speak to ILMA today. And we will be sending out a link to the recording later today or tomorrow. And then in addition, we will post the slides on our website where people can download them at their convenience. So all of you who are online, please stay tuned for further information about how to get a copy of the presentation. And again, thank you both. I'm sure that it's great that we were able to connect and bring this valuable information to the ILMA membership.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you so much for having us.
And thanks to everyone for joining us. Thanks to Chevron Ornite for our continued sponsorship of this. And we'll see you next time.